the sun or in the shade, you can come in if you're coming close. If it's, I don't like the sun; it just hurts me. So. Alright, I'm Chris Caine. I run Chris Caine Survival. Mate of mine, Ian's not here today. Again, he's supposed to be down, but he's not. So what we're going to talk about today is kit. Not what kit I've acquired, what kit I use and what work and what don't really. And then I'll do a question and answer stuff afterwards if you want. And anything else you want to go over, I'll do my best to answer your questions. Okay, I'll start off with, this is, I've used this, it's hammered and it works. It's a low alpine crossbow rucksack, okay, and years ago, back in the early 90s, these were very popular in blacks' shops and stuff, and the manager said to me, try this and see how you get on. I was like, yeah, I've heard it all before. So I went through a stage of giving it a go, and I'm going to explain to you lot what I got told and what works and obviously don't. Okay, this here is a delving rod, and what it's for is on a rucksack it normally compresses all the load and sits on your hips. Okay, now I've put my knives that are in that pack on the market today with you now. If I could fill this with bricks and do the same test I did in that shop, because I didn't believe the guy that told me. You can carry 200 pounds in this easy, and it sits like a glove, and you can move, there's no problem with it, there's no weight on your shoulders, it just sits on your hips. So, delving rod, obviously you've got a bottom pouch which is good for your sleeping bag or whatever, and your top pouch and stuff. Now I aim to get some stuff out and just go through the stuff. Now, when you go in and you get a new pack, please ask as many questions as you can. Make sure that the thing fits you right for your frame. Okay, this is not, and no rucksack is waterproof. Okay, you want to try and get a liner in it. Now I've got all that in here, and I'll go through some stuff. Obviously it's got a top pocket with a zip closer, and I'll pull out stuff that I've got, and obviously you can see bungees. Yeah, bungees, a quick way to put up a shelter. It's simple when you just hook them on, put your shelter up. It saves time, especially when it's raining hard. Okay, spare bag which I haven't got. That's that pocket. Closures. In this I've got a dry sack. Now, initially I keep this quite tight, but it keeps my kit dry. Okay, I've got a liner for a sleeping bag, don't need it in this weather, but you know, you can use it in the winter. And I've got a sleeping bag, okay, now it's all tucked in this. Now the thing is with this, I'll go back to the rucksack. Now I'm going to diverse, so if I'm going too quick for you, please stop me and tell me to go back. This is an army sleeping bag, okay, it's got a central zip. Okay, now the reason I use this is because it's easier to get in and out of. If you've got a problem and you're in a bivvy bag, people don't like being claustrophobic, so you need to get out of this quick to get air, and I've seen it done on courses. Okay, central zip. What I recommend is a central zip sleeping bag if you can get it. If it's winter time, this will only go down to about -15. If you need something better, get a liner like this, fleece liner, and add to it. If not, get another sleeping bag and put it inside. Okay? Down is a good product now. They've made it semi-permeable water repellency, but you also need a bivvy bag to go with it. Alright, but I use these. The side zips that you get normally on sleeping bags are such a pain to do up. If you've ever used them, you're struggling like this, trying to get it around your shoulders. So I've opted to forget about that, and I've gone for a central zip sleeping bag. These are synthetic. Army use them, they're down to -15. Okay, they're about 35 to 45 pounds in a surplus store, and it works. Okay, I'll put that over there. These liners, a mate of mine gave me it, and I've kept it ever since. It works. It's got a elastic thing so it fit in the bottom of your bag. Okay. Bivvy bag, Army. This is a newest one, 2008. And now another present which works. It's camouflaged. Now, this hasn't got any zips. With zips, you'll tend to get leaks. Okay, this has just got a draw cord. In this type of year or heat, you can either sleep on top or inside it. Okay. Also, this will keep your kit dry. Now, I was talking I think yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday about these. Now, when you buy these, they're semi-expensive, but you can test these in your bath at home before you take it out. And that's what I suggest you do with gear. Put all kit inside of your jeans. Put some boots, rocks over socks, and weight it down in the bath. Get newspaper and wrap it right round. Okay. Leave it in there for 24 hours. Yeah, hike this out, but make sure that this hood end is outside where the taps are. Okay, leave this lot sunk in the bath. You'll soon know whether it leaks because the paper will be damp. If it does, take it back, get another one. Do the same test until you find one that's bomb-proof, because one day your life's going to depend on it. Okay. If we go back to this. Obviously it's just a dry sack and stuff which is used, it's quite strong. You can obviously use this for falling rivers and stuff out, and it's quite big. Oh, I've got something else. Army basher that I use, that I put in the bottom. When you pack stuff, you want to make sure when you pack the rucksack, put this on top, because this is the first thing, this is your cover to keep you dry out of the rain. So this goes on first. Then bivvy bag, then sleeping bag, and your clothes, put it down the bottom, because you ain't going to need them in an emergency. You're going to need this. Okay. These are hard to get hold of, but any store should be about 55 quid. You can get a good second-hand one as well. All right. At the moment, this one's been hammered so much that it leaks across the seam, but you can get some rubber sealant and stuff and redo it yourself. Okay. They're quite big. They're like your tarps, but this is obviously desert camo. You can get green, which is cool. Okay, and that's what I brought with me today. Now, getting back to this bit here. Obviously on here you've got I don't know if you can see it. I'll turn this in. Oh, that's where you went. I wondered where you got to. It's been in there a while now. A drinks thing. You can slot your drinks cabinet in there, and you've got a little V at this end where your tube can come out. Handy little things, but I put my knives and stuff down here when I'm carrying this. Okay, the small blade, the companion, which are, if anyone wants to see it again, I've got it and I'll show you. Okay. But when you go in and get a rucksack and you fit yourself for a rucksack, please pick it up, walk around, look at other stuff while you've got this on your back. Put loads of heavy gear in, like ropes, anything heavy. Fill it right up to the top and make sure it fits your back properly. So half an hour to an hour, I know it's a waste of time in the shop, but it will make sure that that pack fits, because you don't want to get this and say, yeah, this works, I'll put it on and I can just go. You can't, because what will happen, I put 10 miles down the road, your back will start hurting and you have to readjust it. So make sure it fits. Okay, the reason we chose these is because these pads are nice and thick, doesn't dig into your shoulders. Okay, the lumbar support is massive, and this bit here, and there's an air vent here, and this is all self-adjusting, so you can adjust. I could adjust this to anyone here, you know, if I wanted to. Okay, it's hard to get hold of these. The only way I've got hold of this is from America, because Low Alpine don't do these anymore. They've stopped doing them, which is a shame, because this is a pack that I believe that works. They were £240 when they first come out, and you know, it's just a shame. But it's trying to find one of these. I've just kept hold of it. It's old. I've battered it completely, and it's lasted, which is great for me. Okay, so it's a crossbow, Low Alpine crossbow. If you can get one, you know, great. But if you can't, don't worry. But just please make sure that the pack fits you. Alright, because there's loads of people, oh, I've got blisters, I've got aching back. It's because the pack doesn't fit you and they haven't fitted it properly. Alright, is there any questions on that? Sorry.
Where would you go to if you don't know what fits you means?
Right, fits you. In the shop, they've got semi-trained staff, right, and their job is to sell you gear. Okay, so on part of their training, they've got to adjust this system to fit you, your back shape, your shoulders, and your waist, and it's got to fit like a glove. If it doesn't, walk away from it. Don't care what it says to you, you walk away. Like I said the other day, PAC's kit is meant just for you. It might not fit somebody else. You can't get these anymore, that's what I'm trying to say. But if you get a new PAC, please make sure that it fits you, like it fits you really well, because you'll be marching 20 miles or so, and if you've got a problem with it, and once it starts rubbing, you're going to get a sore, and that's going to increase. So, you know, does that go on? Yeah, I mean, this I can adjust this to fit you now, and I can load that up with rocks, and hopefully it excuse me, can you just
Whatever he tells you is lies.
move on, please? Move on.
Do you know what we do? Get your book.
Do you mind just moving on, please? A troublemaker with life. Go on. Blinking skirts coming down here. Skirt. And it's all right. He's a friend. So skirt. So yeah, I can make it fit you. But whether you like it or not, it's a different kettle of fish. Does that answer? And when you go into a shop, you're going to get a salesman say to you, you know, right, where did I put that? I left it in the damn car. A jacket, yeah? It's Gore-Tex. It works. It's what it says on the label. Does it? Prove it. And that will stumble them every time. If you can prove that that jacket works, I'll take 10 of them. Because I've had to do that, and I've had the money to do it, and they've said, well, hang on a minute. No, I said, if you can prove that that jacket works, I will take 10 of them. And they can't prove it. So when you buy a jacket or trousers or boots, you need to make sure that it fits. I mean, seriously fits like a glove, because if you hurt your feet and you're working it, you know, you've got ill-fitting boots, you've got a problem down the road, and you've got to stop and adjust the boots or fix the blister or whatever. You know, really, prevention's better than cure. Okay? Does that help? Or yeah? Anything else? Sorry, yeah.
Got the elastic version of it, it's got some rails on it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's impressed with the comfort of it.
Yeah.
Carrying.
Yeah.
What I forgot to in the shop is
Yeah, there's an army rucksack which is higher up on the
oh
back.
yeah, that's my solution at the moment.
Yeah,
I'd like to be able to use it.
No, I haven't. Not the belt kit. If you want to put your belt kit in that, what I suggest you do is put the belt kit in the top.
Yeah, the whole point of having a belt
I know it's to keep
separate.
it separate. But if you have to, that's what belt kit is. If you ditch this, you've still got.
That's the idea.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, but no, just the army have got a solution, and I haven't got one for you because I haven't got any funny pocket belts.
What's the ones that don't hit load bearing,
Right.
and they're not as comfortable?
No. But
Anyway,
no.
let's digress.
It's a fair point. No, seriously, it's a fair point. But I just use that. I haven't got no belt kit. I never have had.
I grew up with it, so I'm fond of it.
Great. I grew up this way, and I haven't got. If I lose this, and I've got the knife, I'm fine. But if I lose this, I'm going to moan at myself for losing it, because I tend to put things down, like I have done, the tripod, put it down, walk away, come back, and I'm thinking, where's that gone? And I've moved it somewhere, I can't find it. So anyway, is there any more on kit? Is there anything on boots or anything that I can help you with?
Have you tried the buffalo slippers?
Sorry?
Have you tried the buffalo slippers?
They are brilliant.
Yeah.
The inner and the outer are very good.
They're
Even in sorry?
A bit heavy.
They are heavy, but if you want, you ain't going to compromise in the summer or the winter. If you want the kit, you'll have to carry it. I'm afraid. I mean, the other way to do it is there's no hard way. If you want to suffer, carry light kit. But in the winter, you will suffer. If it's cold and rains, and we're going back to the blanket thing. Yeah, I've never done it, so I really, honestly, don't know because I've never used it. I've always been brought up, being my dad's been in the Army Special Forces, is sleeping bag always works. If you go with that, you have to just dig yourself a trench and light a fire in it and use that.
I don't do suffering, I'm old.
Sorry?
I don't do suffering, I'm old.
Hey, I've got arthritis and I don't do suffering in the winter no more. I'm old, well, sort of, aren't I?
Yes, Chris, you are.
Do you see what I mean? Anyway, so is anything else on stuff? Anyone want to ask any questions before I move on? No?
Just to reiterate your point, Chris, actually,
Yeah.
I've actually done that, as you said.
Yeah.
Walked into Blacks, pick up a rucksack,
Yeah.
and I've gone over and I've put the fire extinguisher in the back,
Yeah.
and I've had some very funny looks. But I've explained to the guys, and they said, well, "Fair play, yeah, you're going to carry it." I mean, we, as you know, we carry kit around all the time, so it's got to work. It's got to work. It's got to work properly.
It's got to be comfortable.
Don't be worried about putting stuff in there and walking around the shop with it, because you're going to be spending upwards of 80, 90, 150, 200 pound on a rucksack. It's got to work. It's got to be
So
comfy.
I'll give you an idea. When I was out on the road last time, I brought a rucksack for my wife, and we walked 105 or more miles, and she never murmured once until we got to Fort William. She never said a boo to a goose. It was me suffering with the rucksack that was ill-fitting, as I call it. And I got rid of it as soon as I could. But she had a crossbow, never moaned once. We went through midges, swamp, and lot, and I was, she'd never done anything like this before. So, kit's got to work, and it's got to work first time. Okay, that's what you want to, that's what I'm trying to get over to you. If your sleeping bag doesn't work, and the other thing with sleeping bags, they give you a rating 2 to 5. And you can go into any shop and ask, right, I want a 5-season sleeping bag, and they say, where are you going, Himalayas? Where does it ever get below -10? And the first question is, where have you been, mate? What? Where have you been? Because in the Cairngorms it can get below -20 quite easily in the winter. And have you ever been there? Well, no. So why do you want a 5-season sleeping bag for? Because I don't want to get cold.
Everybody sleeps differently anyway, don't
They do. Their body temperature. Like me, I feel the cold. I haven't got no fat on me, so I tend to need something a bit warmer than normal. So I use a liner with a sleeping bag and stuff. But
With the warm one, you can always open it, can't you?
yeah.
And
That's
if it's
why,
cold, you're stuffed.
yeah. Well, that's it. That's why I use a central zip sleeping bag, because if it's too hot, I can just fly it open. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard a theory that if you put clothes on, that doesn't lost one.
Like, sorry, can you speak up? I can't hear you.
So, I've heard a theory that if you put clothes on, you
Yeah.
get your sleeping bag, your bag doesn't loft properly.
True.
It doesn't.
True. Take it off, but it depends on if you want to move the next day quick, you leave your clothes on. I've done courses where I've left my trousers and top on, taken the fleece and that, and I always use that as a pillow. And a guy I used to be with used to carry a pillow, and I always swore I'd burn this last pillow because I didn't, He said, what's the matter with it? I said, I don't want the pillow. He keeps giving me, I don't want it. I use my kit, and that's what it's there for. Use whatever you can underneath it. The other thing with the bag, which I'm trying to give you little tips that I've done, is when you're on a hillside or whatever and you get wind, I know it's going to, some of you will say, oh, it's common sense. It is common sense, but this has got an opening to it, right? And normally the zip ones, they just close. This one doesn't. You've got a little hole like this if you can cinch it up. If you can't, then it's pointless. So get someone in there, and what happens is the rain's coming like this way against you. This goes first, then this goes over the top, and that keeps it. But you always must keep this side of this open, because people suffer from claustrophobia, and I've seen it, they panic. So I always tell them, and seriously, I always tell them, just to keep one side open, especially when it's windy, really windy on a mountain. You get the oxygen going into your lungs, and that's what does it. People panic at night. So, and same thing, if the rain's coming this way, I put this one on first and this over the top. But you always wake up when it's raining anyway, because you're always wondering what's leaking and what's... And the other thing I must tell you about, which is a nightmare for me when I've been out there, is, I don't know, when you've been out and you've been sleeping in the woods, is you get the little beetle that comes along and wants to get in your bed and get warm. And I've been known at 2 o'clock in the morning, bloody thing, where are you? get out because it's always scratching and it wakes you up. Do you know what I mean? So that can be annoying.
You heard the man-eating rabbits waking up on you.
Yeah, yeah, and the gorillas, they come regular, you know, to me. They love me. Anyway, any other questions? Yeah, go on.
I've got a few rucksacks because I've got different kit for different times of the year.
Yeah.
So obviously during the summer I'm not going to want to carry. I don't need to carry lots of heavy stuff.
No.
But,
Yeah, well, great. That's what we want to do. Another thing for the summer, guy on the road, George Alexander Fox used to have what's called I haven't seen them for ages. What's called a moon bag. The only downside of it, it's not central zip, it's side zip, but it's got like an aluminum orange inside, blue, and it's in between that orange and that, it's got like a foil, and it's heat retention. And he swears by it, or he did do when he was around. But I only used it once, I was sweltering in it. So I said, oh, I can't use that, it's too big. He said, well, there you go, and that's your summer bag. And they always carry stuff that's like, you know. So, go on.
The helicopter mountain rescues are starting to
Yeah.
because it's small.
Yeah, it's light. Yeah, but I mean, look, just try and think though. Most of the modern kit, yes, it works, but how far will it go? I mean, there's loads of jackets out there that are breathable, but they're not waterproof. They're water repellent. So what happens is you're walking along and you're going to get wet and it just seeps, and you think, why is it leaking? Is it me getting hot? No, it's just water coming in. I remember. Go on.
When you Gore-Tex wets out, it stops
Yeah,
being
the
water
DWR,
Yeah.
durable water repellency, yeah, it goes. Yeah, it's a shame. There is some good stuff out there that will work, and there's other stuff that you think, no, this is leaking.
I had an Alpine, low Alpine,
Triple point ceramic.
and it delaminated.